Hello from the ABA Annual Meeting 2018 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Laurence Colletti.
I'm John Levy.
Faye Butler.
Zachary Stevenson.
Judge Lora Livingston.
Marty Balogh.
And we're all on the road with Legal Talk Network. And we're back. Thank you so much for joining us again here. We're at the ABA Annual Meeting here, 2018 in Chicago, Illinois. I have a special panel of guests. This is a fun little aside that we came to in contact here, courtesy of Marty Balogh from the ABA. And so this is an important cause, and we're talking with people that have volunteered some time. They're raising some funds, but let's open that up. The center of this event is called It's Only Fair 2. So it's a sequel. And this is the ABA concert for the Legal Services Corporation. So thank you all for joining us. So before we dive in, what I want to do is just learn a little bit more about you. You know, everybody here is participating and volunteering in their own way. So I want to start with John. Where do you work? What do you do?
I am a partner at Sidley Austin Law Firm here, but I am in Chicago. But I am the current chairman of the board of the Legal Services Corporation. I was appointed in 2010.
Okay. How about you, E?
I am a performer, actress, singer, and I'm really glad to be here to support today's events because we need it.
Excellent. And Zachary?
Yes, I'm a performer as well, joining you, Faye, here. I'm currently performing in the Buddy Holly story in Chicago and supporting Court Buddy. I'll be the Court Buddy here representative.
Excellent. Your Honor.
I am the current chair of the ABA Standing Committee on Legal Aid and Indigent Defendants, and it's my pleasure to participate in It's Only Fair 2.
Now, Marty, I know you work for the ABA, but please tell our listeners a little bit more about what you do.
I'm the Associate Executive Director at the ABA, and I oversee the Meetings and Travel Group, which is responsible for the logistics related to the annual meeting.
And this is the biggest meeting of the year for the American Bar Association. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so a lot of attorneys come into town. Was it at 7,000?
Yep, we'll be over 5,000.
Wow, it's a big event. So, very important cause. I want to get started with that, but at first, I think I would like to talk about the history of the Legal Services Corporation. John, I think that's you.
Sure. The corporation was founded in 1974 as one of the last acts of the Nixon administration, and we are the largest funder, federally funded, but we are a 501c3 funder of civil legal aid programs all across the country, 133 of them in every congressional district, every state and territory in the country. We were the brainchild of many in the ABA, and it's terrific that the ABA is doing this concert today.
Excellent. So why are we here? Now, there's a concert being put on. Obviously, this is taking a lot of work. We have some volunteers. We have some people performing. Why are we here today?
Well, because a number of years ago, we recognized that there was a crisis in civil legal aid. That is, the funding has never kept up with the demand and the need, and all across the country, we're leaving hundreds of thousands of people out of the legal system. That's not a good thing, and we need to call attention to the fact that legal services needs to be properly funded, and we've got to make our justice system accessible to everyone, irrespective of their means.
Now, I'm an attorney. I'm out of active practice today, but I have to admit, until I got involved with the ABA, I did not know anything about the Legal Services Corporation. So what I'd like to do is learn a little bit about who the Legal Services Corporation represents and what type of matters, who is this to benefit?
All right. So I would say that the kinds of matters that our grantees across the country represent individuals in don't change that much. And most of them are in housing, that is eviction, landlord-tenant. You know, in this country right now, in housing court, unfortunately, 90% of the landlords are represented, and the flip is true for tenants. They're unrepresented. And that's, for low-income folks, just they have no idea what's happening in housing court. So housing court, family law, veterans, elderly, victims of scams, civil benefits that people have not been they're supposed to be getting but aren't getting, those kinds of matters.
And servicing primarily people with limited means.
125% of the federal poverty guideline and below,
okay,
of which there are nearly 60 million Americans living at that level.
So that answers why we're here. I'm going to turn over to Marty as to how we got here.
That's about 18 months ago in Chicago. I was attending a concert that Seth Rudetsky did, called Concert for America. And it was a nonpartisan event to bring attention to all the types of agencies that are out there that are doing good for the average American. And I turned to my partner and said, ABA needs to do something like this. And he said, well, aren't you in charge of meetings? Why don't you do something? And so I said, well, I think I can do that. So we organized last year in New York the first offering and able to get Broadway performers to donate their time to be part of it. And it was a great success. And after it was over, John and Jim said, do you think we could do this in Chicago? I said, we have even more talent in Chicago, and we're happy to put it together. And so that's where we are now.
And Your Honor, how did you get involved?
Well, I currently serve as the chair of this ABA Standing Committee on Legal Aid and Indigent Defendants, and within the ABA, SCLAID, which we are affectionately nicknamed, really is the primary partner with LSC in its work related to civil legal services. SCLAID has a broader agenda than just the civil legal services, but with regard to our work with LSC, we consider LSC our primary partner in our effort to provide access to justice for everyone. I think really Marty hit it on the head when he talked about the bipartisan nature and the nonpartisan nature. What I like to say about the work we're doing is that issues related to helping people who live in poverty with their legal problems really is a nonpartisan problem, but it will require a bipartisan solution. And we have to all work together to create creative ways and find great solutions for really what is a pervasive problem among people who don't have any political affiliation one way or another.
So in the pregame, we were talking a little bit about the span of the coverage of the LSC. And so I'm hearing 800 offices across 50 states. I mean, how many clients does that turn out to be per year?
It's in the low millions, but there's so many people that are being turned away. And what I want to say is that last year's event, the first concert, coincided really with our release of a Justice Gap survey, which we had raised money privately to run, which showed that 86% of the civil legal problems of low-income Americans either get inadequate or no assistance in 2017, the year before rather. And so that's not as sustainable to leave that many people out. So it's in the millions of people that we are able to help. And incidentally, every one of our grantees is responsible for a statewide website that people can use to get information. But do you really want to leave their justice problems to just a website?
And so, I mean, in addition to raising funding at this particular event, I mean, I'm assuming also that you're reaching out to volunteers as well?
Yes.
Certainly, there is a massive pro bono effort around the country. In every jurisdiction that I'm aware of, there is one effort or another to try to convince and recruit lawyers to take on cases at no fee. And I'm not talking about the lawyers who take a case and get stiffed and don't get paid. I'm talking about people who are committed to the rule of law, people who are dedicated to the law as a profession and who understand that they have a professional responsibility to represent low-income individuals. And so I'm talking about taking a case at the outset of a case, knowing that you won't be paid for the work that you're going to do, and still giving it your best effort to try to solve someone's legal problem. That kind of effort is being conducted underway in every jurisdiction that I'm aware of, and we are very, very proud of all of the lawyers and all of the paralegals and all of the clerks and all of the court reporters and all of the people involved in the justice system who volunteer their time regularly to take on cases, knowing at the outset that they won't be paid for the work that they're going to do.
But we always need more, and that's why it's so wonderful that these performers are here, because, frankly, the American justice system doesn't just belong to the lawyers. We lawyers are a little provincial about it, but also at the same time, the American people sort of think, well, if it's the legal system, it must be the lawyers. But you know what? It isn't.
John, are you telling me the laws belong to the people? So let me just quick follow up on the volunteers before we meet our performers here. I do want to ask a follow up. You know, right now at ports of entry, there's been a big call for attorneys that have immigration law experience, but not just immigration experience. I think more importantly, they want people that speak more than one language to meet folks down there that need some help. And so in terms of that, what kind of lawyer are you looking for? And also, we briefly touched on it, there's some other legal professionals that need to be called, and I just wanted to get the word out to who is needed.
Well, everybody is needed. I like to say it this way. Right now in our current immigration system, unrepresented children are not entitled to a lawyer, not a court-appointed lawyer. They just can't get a lawyer. And so I like to say it this way. I'm pretty sure that a tax lawyer or a transactional lawyer can do a better job representing a 5-year-old than a 5-year-old can do representing himself. So if you don't know much about immigration law, we will teach you what you need to know. But I guarantee you, if you come and volunteer for the many, many programs that will assist unaccompanied minors, you'll do a better job for them than they could possibly do for themselves as children. So you bring the talent, we'll train you, and we'll put you to work post-haste.
All right, so deliberately I saved the last act, the grand finale, for our performers here, and I want to introduce them a little bit more. So we've got your bio, Zachary and E, but what are you performing at this particular concert?
Well, one of the things I know that Marty wanted us to do, and it came through our producer, Tracy, wanted us to do, they wanted us to do songs of hope and inspiration, and that inspired people. But they didn't want them to be melancholy and kind of weigh us down at the same time. That was like the big thing they kept saying. Don't make us cry, So we definitely want everybody to walk out, because you need a positive attitude for the work that the lawyers do, for everything that we're doing. We still want everybody to have a positive attitude and walk away from this concert today feeling inspired and to do more and to go further. So in my choice of songs, I could do nothing but a classic Dinah Washington song.
Oh, my goodness.
That is What a Difference a Day Make. So it does help. It does make a difference, and the difference is, as at the end of the song says, the difference is you. So if that inspires someone to come and help with legal aid and help this organization, that's the little bit that I can do. So
awesome. And Zachary, what's your chosen role?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true. These lawyers are putting themselves out there to support people in need. But, lawyers need some support too. It can be really hard work, and this is no small undertaking. So performers can help in their way by providing some levity to the event, doing something positive. My current role is Buddy in the Buddy Holly story. He wrote a lot of great songs in a short period of time, and he has this kind of youthful, optimistic energy, and I'm going to do one of my favorite songs of his called Every Day. Every day it's getting closer. Every day, it's a roller coaster, but it's going to get better. Love will come our way.
And just so everybody feels good, you're not going to be flying home after this, right?
I'm just driving. More dangerous, actually. More dangerous.
that was good.
More dangerous in this town.
All right, now I know we said we wouldn't ask for free goodies, and that's what he said, free goodies, but I have to ask, could we get a little bit? Look, our lawyers, they work hard, they're going to be listening to this. They just need a little relief.
Yeah, well,
Buddy will do it for you. He's a really nice guy.
All right.
All right, here we go. Quiet on the set?
Okay, we're quiet.
No, I'm kidding. Every day it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. A love like yours will surely come my way. Hey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well done.
That's awesome. All right, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Our performers need to get on stage. We got to do a little fundraising here for the Legal Services Corporation. But before we do that, let's leave some contact information. If our listeners want to follow up, how can they find you? Let's, let's start where we began. Let's start with John.
Well, you can contact me through my law firm or legal services. I'm jlevy@sidley.com.
Eddie.
I'm just Faye Butler. You can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, my website, www.faye Butler.
All right, Zachary.
Yeah, I can be found at efaybutler.com. No, all the same. Zachary Stevenson.
Yeah.
You Google it. I'm on Facebook, social media, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Your Honor.
You can find me through the ABA on the ABA website at the Standing Committee on Legal Aid and Indigent Defendants, SCLAID for short.
Last but not least, Marty.
I'm also on the ABA website, martin.balogh@americanbar.org.
Well, we've reached the end of the road for today's episode, but I want to thank our guests for joining us today and also our listeners for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please find and rate us in Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road with Legal Talk Network.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.